Hey guys, it's Caitlin. Welcome and welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you the story of how I refined my own personal brand, the tips that I use to do them, and how you can apply these tips to refine your own personal brand. Last year, I had the opportunity to compete in the Miss Austin USA pageant, and going in, I thought I had a pretty good idea of personal branding. I thought I could even make my own, but making your own personal brand, refining your own personal brand, it's like a doctor trying to diagnose themselves. It is not suggested. I'll share with you 3 tips that I learned throughout this process so that you can become the king or queen of your own life. The first tip that I have should not be a surprise. It is all about being authentic and true to yourself. By the time I got on stage at the Miss Austin USA pageant, I had been preparing for 7 months. And I had a lot of people ask me if I was nervous, but to be honest with you, I wasn't. And I was not nervous because I knew that all this preparation was really just about getting to know myself. And at that point, at the interview, on stage, all I had to offer was myself, and that was all the confidence that I needed. When creating a personal brand, we are not creating a separate persona. We are just choosing which parts of ourselves to highlight at any given moment. So the best example that I could think of this is actually going to be Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. So we all know that Sasha Fierce is a part of Beyonce, but it is like this alternate persona that she presents that is sensual, mysterious, and like super sexy. But we all know that it is ultimately still Beyonce, but it is a special persona that she brings out at certain times. This is how I want you to think of your personal branding. We are not reinventing anyone. We are not hiding really anything. We just want to choose which parts of you and your story to highlight, and we'll go more into the story later. There was an amazing quote that I heard a few weeks ago, and I wrote it down, and I wish I knew who said it, but I really don't remember who said it. But it was along the lines of, whatever it is that you want in life, you will get it not despite what makes you unique, but because of what makes you unique. So when you learn to show up as your full and authentic self, the rest of these tips will be so easy to apply because you know exactly who you are, exactly what parts of yourself you want to highlight, and what you have to offer the world. The next tip that I have for you guys was definitely the most fun part in the process. Maybe the second fun part. The first part was probably picking out the dresses. The second part was also getting to know myself. So this requires a lot of self-reflection. And this is all about how to navigate the infamous "tell me about yourself" question. Your personal brand story should be relevant to the audience that you are telling it to. So not everyone is going to care that I grew up in a small town in Texas. They're going to want to know why that fact should be important to them. When crafting the answer to "tell me about yourself," I had to find a way to tell my backstory in a way that made sense to judges that did not know me, a way that told my story in a succinct and efficient way, and in a way that made my story sound like it deserved to be amplified. So how do you go about crafting your own story in the way that I did? So the first thing that I want you to do is to pick highlights from your life that are most important. Not everyone is going to care about the first time that I had a Coca float in my small town, but one thing that I did choose to highlight about my small town is that it was actually a military town. So the second step that I have is to go into why those highlights matter. So for me, the reason why highlighting that I am from a military town is so important is because in a military town, you have a diverse range of people with different backgrounds. And this made me really curious about how humans interact and how we make decisions. Next, you're going to go into why this is relevant to that person or how it connects to your professional journey. So the next part of my story is that I got 2 degrees to help me better understand consumer behavior, and now I teach it to the world. Of course, this is a much more abbreviated version of the story that I actually told in the story that lives across my platforms, so you can definitely make your story as long or as short as you want. When you have your main story created, all you really have to do is switch out that third piece and make it relevant to the person that you are currently speaking to, whether that's a future boss, an investor, or even a date. The third tip that I have for you guys is that personal brands also have brand identities. So a brand identity is the way that the brand presents itself. So for products, this is going to be their packaging. And for humans, this is going to be our clothes, our hair, our makeup. I don't want you to think of brand identities as something that is reserved for products. anything that meets the eye before you really get to know it is a brand identity. So for humans, this is not only how you present yourself, but this is also how you interact with other people before they even really get to know you. So this is going to be your social media, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your Instagram. These are all going to be parts of your identity. So I want you to ask yourself if your brand identity, what you present as yourself, is true and matches what is on the inside and what you tell in your brand story. One thing that I really did enjoy about the whole pageant process was picking out dresses. I mean, what little girl doesn't love picking out a sparkly big dress to wear? The trend for pageant dresses is high slit, form-fitting, and something that showed a little bit of skin. So when I tried on dresses that fit this criteria, nothing that I tried on really felt like me. And I know you know what I mean when I say that things don't feel like me, because you want your website, you want your color scheme, you really want your Instagram, your LinkedIn to feel like you. So when I was in the dressing rooms, I would send pictures of myself in the dresses to my coach and to my friends, and objectively everyone was like, yes, Caitlin, I love this dress, it looks amazing on you. But I knew that when I looked in those photos, my face, it told me everything I needed to know. I did not love the way I looked in that dress. So after hunting for the perfect dress, I landed on something that was a little bit against the grain. So it was a red sparkly ball gown dress. It is not form-fitting. It is a bit more like a Cinderella dress. It still had the high slit, so it still had things that a pageant dress is known for, but it also had my own little spin on it. Because the dress felt more me, I was able to present myself confidently, I was able to walk confidently in it, I was able to pose confidently in it. So when someone looked at me in the dress, as I was telling my brand story, everything made sense. So while you may not be wearing a big ball gown to present yourself, I want you to think if your social media represents who you are. Is someone going to be whiplashed by your social media versus when they actually meet you in person? Because if they are, then that's not the impression that we really want to give. We want to give a consistent impression because consistency breeds trust. Whether you are working on your personal brand for personal reasons or professional reasons, I hope you found this video helpful. If you're wanting to develop your personal brand, do reach out to me using the link in the description box. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend or colleague that is wanting to develop their personal brand. That would make me so happy. And do also like and subscribe if you like videos like this. I'll see you next time, guys.